Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Tuesday, May the 4th. We got a 7-game Tuesday slate to break down. As always, guys, we're going to go game by game. We're going to talk about each game on the slate, just what stands out to me, give you my early thoughts, looking at the slate on Monday night. So before we do get started with the breakdown, as always, I would appreciate it if you would click that like button down below, and if you are new to the channel here, be sure to click that subscribe button as well. Also hit the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload, and you also do get notified every time I live stream. I should be live once again this afternoon, Tuesday afternoon around 4:30 Eastern time on my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to come in, hang out in the stream, talk through the slate with you, or I'll be able to talk through the slate with you guys. We'll be able to answer any questions you have. As always, I do appreciate all you that do come and hang out in the live stream. But yeah, guys, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon content link down below in the description. If you do really enjoy these YouTube videos, you want to see more that I have to offer, I do have a lot of additional content, core plays, updated core plays that is, Discord chat. I give my, list off my favorite plays at each position. All that can be found on Patreon. Just a little bit more additional content than the stuff that I put out on YouTube. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the Phoenix-Cleveland game. We'll start off with this one. So, this is one I don't have a ton of interest in, really. This is probably, in my opinion, like one of the least appealing games on the slate. On the Phoenix side, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, they're always viable. But I don't think I'm going to really be going to any of these guys on this slate. This is going to be a pretty slow-paced game. Should have a very low total. This is a game that, has some blowout potential. Phoenix right now is favored by 13. But Booker, 8,200. Obviously has a ton of upside. Is someone that can go out there and put up 45, 50 DK points any night. But I don't think I'm going to play Booker today. I don't think I'm really going to get to Chris Paul either. Between Booker or Paul, I usually always give the edge to Chris Paul. On this slate, I don't really have a ton of interest in either one, though. DeAndre Ayton is 6,700. I can maybe see going to. He's probably going to play anywhere from 30 to 32 minutes here, as long as he can stay out of foul trouble and as long as the game stays close. We know Ayton has upside. He's been pretty inconsistent this year, but the upside's there. The opportunity should be there. I just don't really like much from Phoenix, though. I feel like I'm just kind of mentioning these guys just to talk about them. Me personally, I'm not playing any Suns today. I can go ahead and tell you that. So, yeah, I'm not going to really anyone on Phoenix, at least not right now. If news changes, then maybe. But assuming that everyone plays for Phoenix, I'm basically just going to fade this team. Now, on the Cleveland side, it's kind of the same thing. Darius Garland is out, so we could maybe get some value from Cleveland, but really, everyone's been priced up. Colin Sexton's 8,300, so even with Garland out, I don't really love him at that price point. Cedi Osman's probably going to start in place of Garland, but he's 5,500. I know he had a massive game last game, but I don't really want to chase that. 5,500 feels like you're kind of overpaying for Osman at this point, just not someone I really want to spend that price on. If Cedi was 4K today, I think he'd be a really good play. He'd be a really good value. But at 5,500, he feels priced appropriately. So yeah, overall, I don't like anything here. If you force me to play somebody from this game, it would probably be one of the expensive guards like Chris Paul or Colin Sexton. Probably Colin Sexton, just because he has a ton of upside without Garland. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. The usage should go up. The matchup's not good. The game environment's terrible. It's a slow-paced game. But would I be surprised if Colin Sexton goes for 45, 50 tonight? I wouldn't. So I guess you can play him. But I'm really, in my one lineup today, I doubt I play anyone from this game. So moving on to the next game, looking at Charlotte and Detroit. This is one I have a little bit more interest in. On the Charlotte side, you got Terry Rozier at 7,300. Especially with Devontae Graham still out, I think Rozier is someone we can look to. Now, with the return of LaMelo Ball, I think that does hurt Rozier a bit, but as long as this game stays close, I think we're going to get massive minutes from Terry Rozier. Now, it's kind of weird that he only played 27 minutes last game. I'm not exactly sure why that happened, but normally we get 36, 38 minutes from Rozier. I would assume that's what he plays today if this game is close. So you could definitely go to Terry Rozier, but I think given the little bit of a discount, I would prefer LaMelo Ball. I actually do have a good amount of interest in LaMelo today. Since he's come back from his wrist injury, he's played 2 games, and in those 2 games, he's played 28 and 30 minutes, been relatively productive with 35 and 36 DK points. I would assume that just as he gets more playing time, the minutes are going to just keep trending up for LaMelo. Does he play 36 minutes today? Probably not, but he's probably going to get 32, 33 minutes, which is definitely enough for him at 7,100. We know LaMelo has a ton of upside. This is someone that can triple-double, just contributes in all categories, can score, can rebound, can get assists, he can get defensive stats as well. At 7,100, I think LaMelo Ball looks like a really good option today, especially if he's going to play 32, 33 minutes. He can easily give you 40-plus DK points in that time, which is pretty good for his price tag. We saw, when LaMelo was fully healthy before he got injured, this was a guy that was consistently priced around 8K to 9K. We're definitely getting a discount on him just given, the return from his injury, which I don't think he should be priced like this. I mean, he should be at least 8K. LaMelo's definitely underpriced today, so I like him a good amount on DK, and I do like him a good amount on Yahoo as well. At $32, he's a point guard that I'm for sure going to be looking to. Like, I would definitely rather play LaMelo over Chris Paul. That's just my preference. Chris Paul could outscore LaMelo. He could beat him out, just straight up. But give me LaMelo for the little bit of savings. But outside of LaMelo and Rozier, you do have Miles Bridges at 7K. Miles Bridges at this point, I don't have a ton of interest in just because he feels priced appropriately. At 7K, like, you really need him to have a good game to pay off this price tag. He's going to play a ton of minutes, but I don't think I really want to pay 7K for Miles Bridges. Same with PJ Washington at 6,500. He's going to play pretty big minutes. The matchup's pretty good against Detroit, but do I want to pay 6,500 for PJ Washington on this slate? I don't think so. So that's probably it for Charlotte, honestly. Like, Malik Monk, he's back, so with Devontae Graham out, we probably do get around 25-ish minutes from Malik Monk off the bench. For 4,300, he's an okay option, but really I think LaMelo's the guy that stands out the most from Charlotte. He's the one that I have the most interest in. I do want to mention that Cody Martin is currently out, so we'll have to wait and see what they do with the starting lineup. My best guess is that Jalen McDaniels just moves back into the starting lineup. I don't think Jalen McDaniels is going to be someone I consider, but without Cody Martin, there should be a few more minutes to go around. He should get a few more minutes. But really, LaMelo's the guy that stands out most from Charlotte, just to me. Now, on the Detroit side, we're going to have to keep an eye on the injuries here. So Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee, Corey Joseph, Ellington, McGruder, Okafor, and Dennis Smith Jr. were all out on Monday. This is a back-to-back for the Pistons. We don't know if, Grant or Plumlee or these guys are going to play. Plumlee was out for rest on Monday, so I assume that he will play today. But really, this Detroit team, they have nothing to play for. They're going to rest guys as much as they can. Assuming that Grant and Plumlee are back, though, I really don't see anything I like from Detroit. Just nothing stands out from this team. The only way I'm going to get to some Detroit guys is if Grant and Plumlee are out. Like, with Grant and Plumlee out on Monday, Isaiah Stewart, he got pretty good minutes with Plumlee out. He played, I think he played over 30 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check real quick. Isaiah Stewart played 31 minutes, had 32 fantasy points. Like, we know he's going to get the time, but, if Plumlee plays, I have no interest in Stewart. I would have no interest in Sadiq Bey at his price tag if Grant's back. I would have no interest in Josh Jackson at his price if Grant's back. I would say the one guy I would like the most would be Hamidou Diallo. Diallo actually did start over Josh Jackson on Monday. If they, if all these guys are out again for Detroit, there is a possibility that Hamidou Diallo would start again at 4K. He'd probably be my favorite Piston, but for now, it's really just a wait and see. We don't know if Grant, Plumlee, Joseph, if these guys are going to play or not. If they're out again, we can maybe go to some of the Detroit guys that we targeted Monday, but on this slate, I don't know if any of them would really stand out as top options for me, just because there are some other guys that we will talk about that I have a little bit more interest in. So next game we'll talk about now is Brooklyn and Milwaukee. So this is one that I have a lot of interest in. Two relatively fast-paced teams. This should be a game that sees a ton of points scored in it. We don't have a total yet, but I would assume that this will probably have one of the higher totals on the slate will be in this game. On the Brooklyn side, we know Harden's going to remain out. Really, for me, from this Brooklyn team, I think it's just the two studs, Kyrie and KD. I'm probably not considering any other Nets outside of those guys. We'll have to keep an eye on the starting lineup. I think DeAndre Jordan did start in their last game. He did play 24 minutes, had 28 DK points. He had a double-double in that time. For 3,900, if DeAndre Jordan starts, he could maybe be a center value worth considering. I could see going there, but like Jeff Green at 5K, I don't think I'm going to go to him at this price point. Blake Griffin at his price, I don't really like. So, yeah, it's the two studs, Kyrie and KD. Without Harden, these are going to be the two guys that really dominate the usage. These two teams did just play on Sunday, and KD did have a huge game, went for 62 DK points in 40 minutes. I believe the game did go to overtime. If you made me choose between Durant or Kyrie Irving, I think I'd actually would prefer Kevin Durant, just because he's been the slightly better point-per-minute player. I expect a lot of usage to go to these two guys. I expect both Irving and Durant to be very productive when they're on the floor. But there are a couple guards I like today. Forwards pretty deep as well. There's some forwards that we'll talk about that I do like. But I would say that Kevin Durant, between him or Kyrie Irving, Durant is my preferred option of the two. I think both are good options. If I had to choose one, though, I would give the edge to KD. But then on the other side, looking at Milwaukee here, Giannis, really like him today, 10,700. I think Giannis is probably my favorite stud on the slate right now. These two teams, like I said, they did play on Sunday. Giannis had a huge game, played 36 minutes, had 74 DraftKings points, had 49 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. Just your typical, big game from Giannis, nearly had 50 points. I mean, Giannis, we know, just has massive upside. This is someone that's going to go out there and just stuff the stat sheet, gets a ton of usage, going to take a ton of shots. Can obviously rebound, can get assists, can block shots. Just the dude does everything at this point. Such a high floor. Even in bad games from Giannis, who's still getting like 45 to 50. I mean, he's been like Russell Westbrook has been on another level this season when it comes to DFS. Just his floor, his ceiling is through the roof. Giannis, I think, is like the closest thing to Westbrook at this point. Giannis just feels like, you're locked in for 50 plus from him almost on a nightly basis. And as long as this game stays close and we get full minutes from Giannis, he is very likely to give you a pretty good score for 10,700. He does feel a little bit too cheap. He's my favorite stud right now. Like him a lot on both sides. On Yahoo at power forward for $54, I definitely want to try and pay up for Giannis there if I can. But like Drew and Middleton, you guys know that when Giannis is healthy and playing, I just never play Drew or Middleton. And, at their price points, I don't really like either one today. It's just Giannis for me, and I think that's probably it. I'm not going to any other Milwaukee guys. So next game, we got Dallas and Miami. On Dallas today, I really don't like much from the Mavs. Kristaps Porzingis has been out their llast few games, and he's listed as doubtful once again, so he's not expected to play. I don't think that really changes too much, though. Everyone's kind of been priced up to reflect Porzingis being out. Maxi Kleber at 3,700, maybe you could go to, but you just never know what you're going to get from Maxi Kleber. The minutes should be there, but his production is just so inconsistent. He's not a very high upside player. Dwight Powell, Willie Cauley-Stein, those two guys will probably split the center minutes. Powell's a pretty productive player most of the time. At 3,300, I guess you could go there. Willie Cauley-Stein's minimum salary, so if some things go wrong and maybe Powell gets in foul trouble or something, Willie Cauley-Stein's going to be like the biggest beneficiary, but the matchup's not great against Miami. It's not the best paced game. This game's going to be played at a very slow pace. These are also two pretty slow paced teams. This was you got Phoenix Cleveland, which is a very unappealing game, and then you got this one, which I think is also very unappealing. I don't really like much on Dallas. There's other studs I think I'd rather play over Luka today. I'd rather play Giannis. I'd rather play KD. Just don't like much here. This is another game I don't have a ton of interest in. So on the other side here, looking at Miami, again, Miami, I don't really have much interest in. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. On this slate, really neither one stand out to me. Jimmy for 8,900, if you want to pay up his small forward, I guess you could go there, but feels like I'm going to be spending my salary elsewhere today. Dragic and Nunn should both get relatively big minutes with Tyler Hero out, but 5,700 for Nunn, he feels priced appropriately. 5,200 or 5,100 for Dragic, another guy that just kind of feels priced appropriately. If you do get 28, 30 minutes from Dragic off the bench, he could give you a decent score for this salary, but neither one stand out to me. Just don't really like much here. I think we can go ahead and move on to the next game. So Golden State, New Orleans, this is another one that is super appealing. Now, these two teams did just play on Monday night. It was a high-scoring game, but it was also a blowout. Steph Curry, though, did have a massive game on Monday night against this Pelicans team. I think he played his normal minutes or close to that. He did get subbed out a little early because of the blowout. But Curry had a huge game Monday against the Pelicans, 35 minutes, 56 fantasy points, talking, Yahoo scoring. Had 41 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, and a steal. We know Curry has massive upside, but I've said it before, when you have Giannis on slates, when you have, just some other guys, normally Curry's not a stud that I try and jam in. Now, Curry's been playing at such an elite level lately. He's a scoring-dependent guy. If he's not knocking down his shots, he's not going to really get you there. But we know Curry's going to take a ton of shots. The matchup's good. He obviously just had a ton of success against this Pelicans team on Monday night. I don't mind Curry, but I think, if you made me choose, I'd rather play Giannis. I think I'd rather play Kevin Durant as well. But Curry's definitely viable if you do want to go there. Draymond Green at 7,100 I think is also in play. He nearly triple-doubled on Monday night against the Pelicans. He had a really good game as well. Finished with 10 points, or he did triple-double. Finished with 10 points, 13 rebounds, 15 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. A massive game from Draymond. He played he had a lot better game than I thought he did. 59 fantasy points from Draymond. I've said it before, we know Draymond can go out there and just triple-double any night. He did it on Monday night, 61 DK points, 37 minutes played. I think Draymond's a really good option at 7,100. Definitely someone I have a lot of interest in. Curry and Draymond are probably my 2 favorite plays from Golden State. Kent Bazemore with Kelly Oubre out, you can maybe go to. He played 31 minutes, had 31 DK points. The price tag's starting to get up there a little bit. 5,400. Feels a little bit pricey for Kent Bazemore, but he should get around 32, 34 minutes. It's a good matchup. It's a fast-paced game. Bazemore's viable too. I think Draymond and Curry, though, are the 2 guys I like most from Golden State. Now, on the Pelicans side, looking at New Orleans here, I don't see too much that stands out from the Pelicans. Lonzo at 8K, Zion at Brandon Ingram at 7,900. Both those guys feel priced appropriately today. I will say that Ingram's price tag is starting to come down a little bit, which makes him a little bit more appealing. Zion didn't have that great of a game. He only had, He only had 45 fantasy points in 36 minutes. For his salary, he wasn't really that good on Monday night. Could you go back to Zion today? You obviously could, but again, give me Giannis. I think give me Kevin Durant over Zion. I think the one guy I would have interest in from New Orleans would be Willie Hernan-Gomez. So Steven Adams was out again on Monday against the Pelicans, and Hernan-Gomez did once again draw the start. He played, I believe, 25 minutes. He played like 8 minutes in the first quarter, and then he played like 5 minutes in the third quarter, subbed out a little bit, or second quarter, and then he subbed out a little early. And then he played the entire third quarter, and then he didn't check back in at all in the fourth quarter. So we got 25 minutes from Hernan-Gomez. This is a game that could definitely go small. These are two teams that will play small. We'll see Draymond at the 5. We'll see Zion at the 5. That worries me a bit. Like, they don't really need Hernan-Gomez out there, but if Steven Adams is out again, we probably do get 24, 25 minutes from Willie Hernan-Gomez. He's been around a fantasy point per minute player. I think he's a pretty decent option at 5,100. He'd probably be my favorite play from the Pelicans, but I don't see too much I like here. I think really my interest in this game is coming from the Golden State guys from the Golden State side with the guys that we mentioned. But next game we got Sacramento and OKC. This is probably, especially on the Sacramento side, like Sacramento's I think is my favorite team to target right now. They're going to be super short-handed today. No De'Aaron Fox, no Tyrese Halliburton, and Harrison Barnes is also doubtful. So Fox, Halliburton, and Barnes are all going to be out today. That leaves a lot of usage and a lot of minutes to go around. The first guy I want to talk about is DeLon Wright. DeLon Wright, 5,100 on DK. Probably one of my favorite plays today. I'm assuming that he does start at point guard in place of Tyrese Halliburton. Probably gets 32 to 34 minutes, if not more than that. He's been pretty productive when he does get minutes. He's always been around a fantasy point per minute player. The matchup here against OKC is really good. I like DeLon Wright a lot today. I think he's one of my favorite plays. Does stand out as a top option from the Sacramento team. And he's super cheap on Yahoo. He's a clear top value for me over there. Buddy Hield at 7,300 I think is an okay option as well. Without Halliburton, without Fox, there's plenty of usage to go around. Buddy Hield's going to play a ton of minutes. He played 42 minutes in regulation last game. This is someone that doesn't really create his own shot. He's still, I don't really know if I think he does benefit with these guys off the floor, but I don't know if he really gets more usage just because he's not a guy that really, like I said, he doesn't really create his own shot. The peripherals are really not going to be there for Buddy Hield. He's kind of scoring dependent, but there should be more opportunity at least. For 7,300, you could definitely go to Buddy Hield, but I would say, given the savings, I prefer a guy like DeLon Wright. I do also like Richaun Holmes. 6,300 for Richaun Holmes, I think is a little bit too cheap here. Since he's come back from his injury, he's played, basically his normal minutes, 22 against Golden State. They kept him on a minutes limit for those first few games, but then he did play 31 against the Lakers. He only played 25 last game against the Mavericks, but he was in foul trouble. He would have played more had he not been in foul trouble. My best guess is that we get probably 32 to 34 minutes from Richaun Holmes today if this game stays close and he's not in foul trouble. And for 6,300, that is definitely too cheap for Richaun Holmes. It's a good matchup. This is someone that's very productive when he's on the floor. We saw, when he was fully healthy, when he was playing normal minutes, like 34, 35 minutes a night, he was priced around 7,500, 7,600. He is definitely underpriced right now if we can expect him to play like 32 to 30, 32, 34 minutes, which is what I think we get from Holmes. So I like him a lot on both sides. I think he is underpriced on both sides. 6,300 on DK, very affordable on Yahoo as well, $21 over there. Richaun Holmes, another guy that I like from this Kings team. And then Marvin Bagley, he's probably my next favorite King, 5K on DK. Kind of frustrating. His first game back from the injury against the Lakers, he played 21 minutes. He was on a minutes limit, only had 20 DK points. But then last game against Dallas, they said he was going to be on a minutes limit, and he played 34 minutes, which was super tilting because I liked Bagley a lot last slate. But once we got word that he was on a minutes limit, I didn't play him. So, super annoying. But given that Bagley played 34 minutes last game, you have to assume that he's going to play 34 minutes again. Even if they say he's on a minutes limit, I don't care. I'm going to play him because I think at 5K, if we do get around 30, if we get 30 plus minutes from Bagley, he's too cheap at 5K. This is a point per minute player, a guy that's been really productive when he's on the floor. Matchup's good against OKC. He is definitely underpriced today. So Marvin Bagley, another guy that I like from this Kings team. Also like him on Yahoo because I think he is a little bit too cheap there, coming in at $20. So really a lot to like here. Basically all the starters, probably all the starters minus Harkless. So Buddy Hield, DeLon Wright, Richaun Holmes, Bagley. I like all four of those guys today. Don't think I'm going to go to Harkless, though. I do want to mention Terrence Davis, just because without Halliburton and without Fox, I think we do get probably like 23, 25 minutes from Terrence Davis off the bench. For 4K, if you need a value small forward, I could see going to him. His minutes are going to be a little, they're going to be tough to predict just because he's coming off the bench, but I do expect him to play at least mid-20s minutes just because they're so short on bodies right now. So you could definitely go to him as a value option. But the 4 guys that we mentioned, Hield, Wright, Holmes, Bagley, those are my 4 favorite plays from Sacramento today. And I think all 4 are viable. I don't know if I'd play all 4 in the same lineup, but I think 3 is totally fine. Obviously, Wright, Holmes, Bagley, I like a lot. But looking at the other side of this game with OKC, it's a good matchup for these OKC guys, but I really don't like a ton from this Thunder team. Like, I just haven't been playing many Thunder guys lately. They're just, they're spreading out the minutes so much. They're running a deep rotation. Like, Lou Dort to 6,100 you could go to, but he's kind of came back down to earth these last few games. Obviously, he went through that stretch where he was just smashing for, like, multiple games, and now he's kind of come back down to earth. Would I be surprised if Lou Dort had a good game tonight? No, but am I going to play Lou Dort on this slate? Probably not. Am I going to play Bazley? Probably not. Like, I just don't think I'm going to much from OKC. Yeah, I just really don't like much here. My main interest in this game is coming from the Sacramento side. But last game of the night, the late night hammer, we got the Raptors and the Clippers. So on the Raptors side today, we'll need to keep an eye on the status of Fred VanVleet. He is currently questionable. We don't know if he's going to play. He did not play in the last game Sunday. I figured they sat him out just because of the back-to-back, but keep an eye on this. VanVleet is currently questionable. OG Anunoby is currently listed as doubtful. So with OG out, we might see probably Stanley Johnson move into the starting lineup. He'll be someone we could maybe consider for value. He did start their last game with OG out, played 30 minutes, but he only had 8 fantasy points. I mean, he's minimum salary $3K. If he's going to play like 30 minutes, he's viable, but obviously, this is someone that doesn't really have a ton of upside even when he does get the minutes. I mean, if I was going to play any Raptors today, it would be the top 2 guys. I would say that if VanVleet is out, I do have interest in Siakam and Lowry. With VanVleet out last game, Siakam and Lowry both did have really big games. Siakam went for 70 DK points in 38 minutes against the Lakers. Lowry had a really big game as well, 63 DK points in 41 minutes against the Lakers. So yeah, you could definitely go to Siakam and Lowry if VanVleet sits. I assume VanVleet will play, but keep an eye on it. I thought he just was out last game for rest just because it was a back-to-back. I'd assume he'd be back today, but that will be something to monitor. If VanVleet plays, I really don't like anything from the Raptors, but if he is out, I think Siakam and Lowry are for sure in play. Kim Birch you could maybe go to. He didn't have that good of a game last game, only 18 DK points, but again, he did see 30 minutes. He's going to continue to get 30-plus minutes a night. He's viable at 5,300, but I'd rather play Marvin Bagley. I'd rather play Rashawn Holmes. Those are 2 guys I would prefer over someone like Kim Birch. So that probably does it for Toronto. Now on the Clippers side, really don't like much here. The Clippers are pretty much fully healthy. PG and Kawhi are both playing today. Like, I'm not paying 9,700 for PG on this slate. I'd rather play Kevin Durant. I'd rather play Giannis. I'd rather play Steph. I'd rather play Kyrie. Like, I'm just not going to Paul George at this price. Kawhi at 8,800 I think is a little bit more appealing just because he's a little bit cheaper than Paul George. Could you play Kawhi? I guess you could. The small forward position is always not the greatest, so paying up for Kawhi, I guess could make some sense. But really, I just don't like much from the Clippers here. This is not when they're fully healthy. Like, this is just not a team I really roster a ton of guys from. And on this slate, I don't think I'm really playing any Clippers. So that does it for all 7 games today, guys. I appreciate you watching the breakdown. Appreciate you tuning in as always. So if you enjoyed, hit that like button down below before you do get out of here, and be sure to click that subscribe button as well. Also hit the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload, and you also do get notified every time I live stream. Once again, guys, I'll be live Tuesday afternoon around 4:30 Eastern time. If you guys do want to come and hang out, tune into my YouTube channel then. I'll be live breaking down the slate, answering all you guys' questions. And if you want to check out my Patreon content, one last thing, I do have that link down below in the description. I obviously post videos on YouTube. I give my first looks at the slate, what stands out to me the night before. But if you want my more updated plays, updated core plays, you want to get in our Discord chat where you can ask me questions all the time, all that is available for Patreon members. So if that is something that interests you, be sure to check that out, link down below in the description. But I'm done talking. Appreciate you watching, guys. Best of luck tonight. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.